I'm a lawyer in real life. I don't play one on television. So Diddy has been convicted on 2 of the lesser counts. We're going to walk through how he's likely to be sentenced. And I'm going to show you how this is going to be calculated. In federal court, you determine a sentence by looking at the federal sentencing guidelines sentencing chart. For each offense, there is a base level, and you use that base level in the person's criminal history category to determine what the sentence may be. So for Diddy, because he was found guilty of transportation for purposes of prostitution, he is likely to be sentenced under the section that's now on the screen, Section 2G 1.1, promoting a commercial sex act or prohibited sexual conduct with an individual other than a minor. His base offense level is going to be a 14, and it's going to be a 14 because the first one, which is a 34, does not apply. I believe that applies to children. Now, he's a 14, but that could be increased. One way it could be increased is through specific offense characteristic B1, and it says if the offense involved fraud or coercion, or the offense of conviction is 18 U.S.C. section 2421, that doesn't apply. Prosecution is likely to argue that fraud and coercion occurred. His attorneys, of course, are going to argue there was no fraud or coercion because the jury considered that and they rejected that when they found him not guilty on RICO and sex trafficking. Now, the next thing that's likely to increase his level is going to be D1. And that D1 says if the offense involved more than one victim, multiple counts shall be applied as if the promoting of a commercial sex act or prohibited sexual conduct in respect to each victim had been contained in a separate count of conviction. So here, Diddy was actually convicted of more than one count. So I'm not exactly sure how much this would increase his level or if it even will, but I have to believe that it may increase it somewhat. There are also ways that someone who's convicted can get a downward departure, but I don't believe any of those are going to apply here. One of the most common ways is acceptance of responsibility. He went to trial, he didn't accept responsibility. The other one that I read about that might apply here is if the commercial purpose was minimal. That probably does apply here, but it would be up to the judge. It would be within the judge's discretion. Let's assume he's not going to apply it. So for purposes of TikTok, we're going to assume he's going to receive the enhancement, the 4-level enhancement for fraud or coercion, so we can see what the worst possible sentence is. So now we're going to look at the sentencing table. So this is the sentencing table. So the base offense level for Diddy would be a 14. He's a criminal history category 1 because he has no prior convictions. If he was sentenced there, it would be 15 to 21 months. But let's go ahead and add that 4-level enhancement for fraud or coercion. That would take it to an 18. That would take it to a 27 to 33 month sentence. He's already served about 10 months, so he would be looking at about 17 to 23 months. The government has already said they're going to be seeking a very long sentence, so you better believe they are going to be proposing additional enhancements to try to get him a more substantial sentence. But if I had to guess, if I was a betting woman today, I would say Diddy is probably looking at something about 27 to 35 months, then take time off for time served. In federal sentences, you usually serve about 85% of your sentence. Now, when I used to practice criminal law, there was a way for you to take it off of your sentence if you had a drug problem. If you admitted you had a drug problem, went through the drug program, you could get about 18 months off. So let me know what you think in the comments.